Welcome to this channel, and let's run a quick check on all the materials we'll be needing. After getting all your materials ready, the next thing we'll be doing is to get our measurements right. So this is the part where we need for our padding, for the two padding that's going to be on top of our turban. It's measuring 29 inches. You measure that on the very stretchy part into two places. So this next part is where we are needing for the band that is going to be on top of the two padding, where our elastic is going to stay to give us that puffy look. So this right here, I measured it out and I say it wasn't going to be enough, so I had to add like extra for it to be enough. So let's say you measure the total of about 35 inches for it to be enough for you to use, and that should be on the stretchy part. So this next part that I'm showing you here on your screen is where we are going to need for our base, the band, that's the V band that we are going to be using. You can use 14 inches, 15 inches, 16 inches. It depends on how well you know how to use, but to be safe, let's use 15 inches. So after crossing, then you can do your adjustment later. So this last part is where I need for my body. Actually, raw silk has a front and a back, so while using or cutting your raw silk, just check for a part that has the neat face, or you can just use any part that you want. So let's dive straight in. So after getting my measurements for the band, it depends on the head circumference of you or your client. So I'm making my turban big because you know some clients, the kind of hair they carry on their head, so this size fits every head. So here I'll show you on how you are going to create your pleats. Even as a beginner, this place is going to be very simplified for you. So just fold the edge of the raw silk inside. You are going to fold it like 2 times. When you fold the first one, you fold the second, pin it down. Why I'm pinning it down is because to make it easier for you to sew it down. Actually, I still also do that, pin everything down then before sewing, because raw silk is very stretchy, and while you are sewing, if you don't pin it down or you don't hold it down professionally, it might reduce the length or the size of the raw silk. So here, this is how to make it neat. As you can see, you fold that place and you sew the edge down neatly, then you start your pleats. This pleat, if you want it to be very much, you can just pin it in about maybe half an inch on each other. If you just want it to be straightforward, you can just do it into 3 or 4 places. Now I've sewn the part where I need for my band, and I'm going to fix the V band for you to see how I do that. Those places is the place where we are going to put our fiber. So I've sewn that down behind the camera. So this part is where you cross your V. If you want your V to lay very well, watch what I'm doing in the video. If you want it to lay very well, that you don't have to lose or have a contour edge on top of your V, you lay it down very well. To make it easier, you can either sew it down after you've layered it on each other, or pin it directly to your turban. So this is how I'm going to show you what you're going to do. After pinning it down, you get the midpoint of your turban. Place it facing the right side, because it's a V band, not a round band. The right side facing each other like that. Then you pin it down from top to the down, from one end to the other. But I'll start with the middle first, because if you don't do it that way, if you don't get the middle point, one place is going to be longer than the other edge. So watch what I'm doing in this video. What I'm trying to do here is arrange the V. That's our strips that we cut, to arrange the V very well, to make it align. So you do that on the other parts too, and you see how it turned out to be. So those edges on that V part that we are carving out, you make sure that you are not sewing it inside your turban. It must be outside while you are sewing, so that you are not going to have difficulty trying to arrange it again. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll show you the final outcome. So this is how it is. I'm going to do that off camera and show you how it looks like. This part, I want to fill in fiber. Pick a comfortable length of fiber, but I'm using the 1-inch fiber to fill in the strips that we cut out for the two padded band that we are going to use on top of the turban, for the padded design we are going to use on the turban. So I'll fill in a good amount of fiber inside. I'm not putting too much. You can also use a half an inch for the two fiber to make it, look portable and moderate. So this next part is where I'm going to put elastic on the other joined fabric that I have. So when you get your midpoint, you pin it down. You pin your midpoint down so that you understand where you are putting those three parts that has elastic. This right here, I've already pinned the middle. I want to get the midpoint. Why I'm using pin mostly is so that you don't make mistake. I also use sometimes when you pick the fabric based on your calculations or your views, you notice that it is not getting to the middle. So I'm going to pin all that place down. Then you see how I attach my elastic. While you are sewing your elastic on this part, you make sure you drag the elastic down, because if you don't drag it, there's no how you're going to have that ruffled surface that you have on the turban. As I'm sewing it down, I'm going to drag it just the way I'm doing. And I know this part is very easy for some of us, so but let's do that for the case of those that are just watching for the first time. So I'm getting the other midpoint. I'm doing that part into three places. After the first elastic, you notice that I did not cut it out because I didn't actually pick a particular length. I just did what I feel is comfortable and easy for me. So just watch through. At this point, if you're here up till now, thanks for watching. So here is how I'm going to join the turban. Now this technique I'm doing is a very professional technique. Instead of you to go and be whipping the turban, this is what I just do. I pick the excess and fold it inside. I've learned this a very long time ago, because some of us are nowhere we have easy whipping machine to our hands like that. So I just pick that edge, folded it into two, and make sure that I'm hiding the rough edges. That's the essence of all this, as you can see. So I'm going to do that all around the turban, but that part of the raw silk that is maybe like the edge of the raw silk, it doesn't fray. Still follow the process of how I do that part. So this is where the band is. It is also fraying. So this is another technique I coined out instead of taking it for whipping. So you just take the exact measurements you need, and the length depends on the length of what you are doing, while the width is going to be on the stretchy part. Then you fold that part inside for easy access, the way you put your bias. So this is where I'm sewing the elastic to the middle of the turban, the middle of the strip we have earlier, to make it have that puffy effect we want. So you watch closely and see how that part turns out to be. So you can use a white thread, although this black thread didn't show inside from the outside, but you can use a white thread to make it neater. Then I'm folding it into two, sew it and turn it inside out. So this is what we have here. You can see the way the turban V front is lapping on each other, the way it's supposed to lap. So I'm just trying to hold my camera here to make sure that I see how I'm going to do the video. You see the way I'm arranging it, so I'm going to do that part off camera. Just place them on top of each other like that. That's the reason why we are cutting it on a stretchy part. Place it on each other, sew the edges together before you place it on your turban. So this part is where I've adjusted it, and you can see the way it's laying on each other. After doing that part, then you do your running stitches at the back of your turban. If you have a turban, you can wear it on your mannequin to give a more firmer, beautiful and luxurious look. Thanks for staying tuned to our channel. See you guys later. Bye for now.